Sundays from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Just $18 per person, and that includes the shoe rental. Summer camps for Sooner Bowl and Escape Sooner sign-up is taking place now. Your kids will have a great time at either of these camps. Don't forget the pack.
Sooner fans, show your Sooner pride. Crafted for SEC competition. Every OU fan should own a piece of Sooner magic. Made in America, like it should be. Get your official on-field OU football today.
Hey Sooner Nation, join me Mondays at 7:45 a.m. and Thursdays at 4:45 p.m. exclusively on the Ref. Download the KREF app to listen from anywhere.
Through clinical trials. No health insurance is required. Compensation is available for eligible study participants, and study care is provided at no cost.
Having the chance to go through a trial and find out if something works for them and makes their life easier, I would recommend them do it.
To learn more, scan this QR code and visit our website.
Ready for summer? Let Signature Custom Pools help you create your perfect poolside paradise. Professional design expertise, quality construction, and personal customer service, they can bring paradise to your backyard. Call Signature Custom Pools for a free consultation at 405-898-9098 or signaturecustompools.com today. Visit the Signature Pool and Patio Showroom on Main Street for your pool, spa, grill supplies, free water testing, and professional pool service from Signature Pool and Patio in Norman.
Hey drivers, it's Ryan Blaney, your 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion and driver of the number 12 Discount Tire Ford Mustang. Do you know one of the most important things that helps keep my car going on the track? Tire pressure. Keeping your tires properly inflated is crucial for safe stopping power and better gas mileage. Check your tire pressure at least once a month or stop by a local tire retailer for an air check.
A message from the U.S. Tire Manufacturers Association.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510. Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings Studios, it's time to get locked in to the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000. Text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Tyler McComas and Parker Thune.
Tyler's microphone is not working. Do you have the switch flipped? Is the mute on? For some reason, we cannot hear Tyler. We will get that remedied.
This one.
Yay! Okay, now we got you.
Works. Yeah, let's go. I don't know what's going on with that middle microphone, and I'm going to have to hold this one up the entire time. Let me get back in the camera shot here. Here we go. Yeah, what's going on, man? How's the show so far? How's it going?
I'm sure you had a very clever opening line that none of us heard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how clever it was, but I was at least going to go with the defense to start off here. I hope everyone on YouTube got to see that disaster that took place for about 15 to 30 seconds, which go subscribe to our YouTube page, KREF Sports. I wanted to start today with the defense, man, and the one thing that was, without a doubt, the overall best thing coming out of Friday night. 6 turnovers, less than 200 yards. I get it. It was against Temple. But I'm a believer in this defense, and I was coming into the year with the talent that they had coming back, the talent that they had coming in. And I think that they had a lot better year last year than maybe what they get credit for. I know there were some numbers there that weren't great, but there was also some numbers there that were really good. Top 10, top 15 in the country. I guess here's my question, because inevitably I always get a little bit of pushback when I talk about how good I think that this defense is and will be. Mm-hmm. It's, well, it was against Temple. Let's not get that crazy yet. And trust me, I get it, man. Like, we've been through some crap here for the past handful of years, gotten our hopes up about the defense, only for all of us to be let down. What has to happen? What has to be the game? When will fans fully buy into this is an elite defense? When can that realistically take place?
Tennessee, and I just can't wait for the Tennessee game to get here in general, Tyler, because we're not going to be able to, I shouldn't say we're not. This fan base is not going to be able to have any. Oh, we got this other microphone.
Oh, yes. Sweet.
Oh,
Let's
how
go.
about it? Good work, Drake. Good work. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to confidently say anything positive that everyone is going to nod their heads and go, yeah, you know what, they're right about that, until Tennessee rolls around. Because regardless of what positive conclusions we can come to between now and then about the University of Oklahoma or any of the individuals on this roster, there will always be the rejoinder of, well, it's Temple, or well, it's Houston, or well, it's Tulane.
Yeah.
So I just can't wait for the Tennessee game to get here for so many reasons.
I think that's right. I think if you're not, like, bought in now, and look, if you're not, I understand, because I've been around here for a while too, watching this program, and when you get your hopes up defensively, then the exact opposite happened. It's like, God, I bought in again, and this is what happens every time I buy into the defense. So I think that there's some people hesitating a little bit because of the past. And again, I understand that, but you're right. If you're not kind of bought into on that side of the ball yet, Houston's not going to do it for you. Tulane's not going to do it for you. You're going to have to do it against Tennessee, which could be in the conversation of one of the better offenses that you faced this year. It was against Chattanooga, but, man, Nico looked good Saturday.
Yeah, but it was Chattanooga.
It was Chattanooga, I know. But you can just tell, like, the kid has a lot of talent, which is not surprising. There's a reason why Tennessee paid him as much as they did to get him to Knoxville. But that Tennessee offense is going to be the first real test of the year, and there'll be a test, man. Be a big test.
Yeah, well, I mean, week 4 for both Oklahoma and Tennessee, when they face each other here in Norman, that is a major prove-it game for both Jackson Arnold and Nico Iamaleava, as well as those two teams as a whole. And then week 5, when Oklahoma goes to Auburn, that's the trap game. Let me tell you, that's the game where you better not look ahead to Texas, or else you're going to get stunned at Jordan-Hare. And then it won't be till the Texas game that we really have a strong sense of what this team is about, where their identity lies, and what they're capable of here in 2024. And as we learned last year, sometimes what we find out in the Texas game doesn't always hold up over the course of the regular season. This is why you play 12 games and not 3 or 6. So for Oklahoma, man, the challenge in front of them, as we've talked about so many times throughout the offseason, is being able to sustain a consistent level of play and improve gradually, make continual improvements over the course of 12 weeks. And so I think a very simple step, and I think the thing that everybody is naturally looking for this weekend against Houston, is not so much anything concerning the defensive side of the ball, because you walked away from the Temple game feeling fine. Maybe not feeling any better about the defense than you felt going in, but certainly not any worse. The big thing that everybody's going to want to see this weekend is, can you play better up front in the offensive trenches? That's the step you want to make tangibly.
And, I mean, everything has to be followed. Still on Wednesday with, well, it's Temple, right? I mean, we've made that joke a couple of times. But there were some individual players out there that if that's what we can come to expect, then this defense could be even better than what I projected. Like, look, Grayson Holton did that against Temple. Probably the best game of his OU career. But if Grayson Holton gives you anything similar to that on a consistent level for the rest of this year, this defensive line's probably going to be better than what we thought, and this defense could be better than we thought. If that's a sign of what Grayson Holton is going to give you this year, right? And some other individual guys as well that played really well. Like, if that's what they're going to give you, if that's consistent, if that's not just something that happened against Temple, then you're really talking about something on that side of the football. But I'm excited about the defense. And again, I always come back to this when I hype up the defense a little bit and you run into some people that are a little hesitant. Is this not what you hired Brent Venables for? Mm-hmm. Did you not hire Brent Venables so in year 3, your first year in the SEC, you would feel like you'd have one of the better defenses in the SEC? Because to me, it's not the only reason that you made the hire, but it was a big reason why you made the hire. So that by the time year 3 rolls around and he gets his guys in the program, all the familiarity is there, that you could walk into the conference with one of the best defenses in the SEC. So if that happens this year, I guess I'm not going to be shocked because, this is what you hired the guy for.
There's another fun conversation starting to brew on social media this week. A very timely conversation after Clemson got throttled by Georgia in week 1. And that conversation is, how much of Clemson's success was due more primarily to Brent Venables than Dabo Swinney? Now, I don't know if we have enough data to draw a straightforward conclusion on that, and certainly it must be understood that Dabo's absolute unwillingness to touch the transfer portal in any capacity has contributed to Clemson becoming somewhat of an obsolete unit, obsolete roster, a dinosaur of a program that college football has passed by, and they're still fun, they're still competent. They're not rostering scrubs out there at Clemson, but it's very clear to see the way that team has played the last couple of years. Yeah, not going to the portal and plugging some of your holes with experienced football players that have done it at a high level, that's starting to hold this team back. It's starting to show.
Yeah, well, they still have solid defenses, but I don't feel like Clemson's had the elite defense since he left Clemson. And, they won the title in 16. They won it in 18. They came close in 15 to winning it, and they ran up against a legendary LSU team in 2019. Those teams felt like they were led by their defense. I mean, Deshaun Watson was good. Trevor Lawrence was good, and they certainly had some good offensive players. But that defensive performance that Clemson had in 2018 when they just throttled Alabama, that's one of the better defensive performances in a national championship game that we've seen here recently.
Oh, my goodness. I've never seen a more beautiful 60 minutes of defensive football.
Pick six early in that game, right?
It was a masterclass. It was a masterclass. It was that night that I said, in all sincerity, I said this, and at the time I believed it, Brent Venables should never become a head coach. This man is the best defensive coordinator in college football. He should just do this till he's ready to hang it up because nobody's going to be able to touch him.
By the way, the YouTube comments, they did see the mic snafu to open up the show today. Yeah, they got comments, as you would imagine. I see you there, Tommy and Cherokee Sooner. Cherokee Sooner did bring up something because the comment section goes on before the show even starts. And Cherokee Sooner brought up an interesting point. We have 2 night games in a row. I can't remember the last time that's happened. Of course, they had 7 11 a.m. games last year and the 12 regular season games that OU played. 11 a.m. Central Times. It was 10 a.m. Mountain Time in Provo last year. I wonder the last time that OU's had back-to-back night games at home.
That's actually a good question.
Sad thing to think about.
I don't know if I know the answer offhand. It's been more than a minute. If I don't know the answer offhand, that's how you know. Yeah, not a typical occurrence around here.
The point is that we'd actually have to think about it, right? Oh, geez, when is the last time that they've had back-to-back home games? I don't know. And I think 3 of their first 4 games will be night games because I think that Tennessee game's going to be a night game, prime time.
It better be.
1-star K-Dub of the 918. Oh, geez, really, K-Dub? We're going here. This season may end up mirroring that 2009 season in a lot of ways. That defense was absolutely filthy, but the offense sustained too many key injuries, Bradford and Gresham, to reach their goals.
Well, there you have it, folks. Oklahoma's going to be an awesome defensive team, but Jackson Arnold is going to end up in an ambulance by week 5, and that'll be it for OU's season.
Well, does that mean that we have to relive one of the just more god-awful football games to watch in OU football history?
Don't even go there. Don't even bring it up.
That was a bad football game.
We all know the game that you're referring to, and none of us want to talk about it.
I didn't want to talk about the 2009 season at all. K-Dub is the one that brought it up.
But again, worst case scenario, let's say that happens. Let's say you lose Jackson Arnold. Objectively, Tyler, you're in a much better spot than you were in 2009.
Michael Hawkins
because,
greater sign Landry Jones. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but also Casey Thompson.
Right.
So you don't have to push all your chips in the middle and bank on Michael Hawkins being a stud, because you know you have a guy sitting there on a depth chart in Casey Thompson that is more than capable of running a Power 4 offense at a high level. So if Jackson Arnold goes down, it's not the end of the world. It would suck, don't get me wrong, and people would be panicking, and rightfully so. But I just remember that opener in 2009, and I was still young at that point, but just thinking, man, how does Oklahoma get through the season and live up to expectations with a redshirt freshman from New Mexico playing quarterback instead of Sammy Bradford?
Yeah, well, it would have been a lot easier, or it would have been really helpful if Jermaine Gresham, your All-American tight end, would have been available for at least like one snap that year, but he got hurt and his season was over before it even started. Dude, by the end of the year, I remember that Oklahoma State game, they had like a makeshift offensive line. I mean, it was, they really had to piece it together. They end up shutting out OSU, but Ryan Broyles was really helped keep that offense together that year, man. Golly, why we had to bring up that 09 season?
Another text from K-Dub. To your point, Parker, what was the most masterful 60 minutes of defense OU has played this side of the 2000 National Championship game? Is the answer Ohio State in 2017?
When Caleb Kelly was in here, I said, look, man, Baker planting the flag, like all that, like we know what people remember from that Ohio State game. The defense kept OU in that game in the first half, because the offense was not great in the first half in Columbus. They got it together in the second half and ended up running away from Ohio State. But that's a pretty good one, man. That defense kept them in the game, and they were awesome against J.T. Barrett, who torched them the year before in 2016.
Recruiting Doomer 2 on the text line, who is a Texas troll, texted in to say, I still love Casey Thompson, but I also find it humorous that you guys' opinion of him changed so dramatically when he put on the Crimson jersey. My opinion of Casey Thompson has never changed, and you're welcome to pull receipts on this. Find any negative word that I said about Casey Thompson, even while he was the starting quarterback at the University of Texas. I assure you, you will not. I have always thought highly of Casey Thompson. And I was having the conversation the other day, like, Casey Thompson did nothing in 2021 as the starting quarterback at the University of Texas to deserve not to have the chance to at least compete for the job the following year. But I get it. You bring in Quinn Ewers. He expects to be the starter. You expect him to be the starter. You have to move on. Casey Thompson got a real raw deal at Texas, got a real raw deal at Nebraska. He's an asset to Oklahoma here in his 7th year of college football and should be regarded as such. Also, how bad is sports radio in Austin, Texas, when you're a Texas fan and you have to spend all day listening to OU sports radio?
I don't know. I think, it's not like they don't have a big game coming up this week or anything. Texas and Michigan, though everyone's picking Texas to win that one big. Which, okay, all right.
Well,
I remember all these predictions.
As I said yesterday, I think that has a lot to do with the fact that Michigan's quarterback room consists currently of a walk-on and an orgy.
Stop. Full stop there. Let's just end the segment there.
Alex Orgy, people. Alex Orgy.
5-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. Gee, I'm sure we won't get text and YouTube comments on that. If you could see me on YouTube, I got my VH Fence polo on once again today. Day 2 of not washing the Van Hoos Fence polo.
I forgot to put mine on. I'm going to have to do that in the break.
Right behind you. So we'll see how many days we can go without washing these polos here in studio. I don't think Grayson will like that by next week. He's got to be in the same room as me. All right, we'll get to the text line. We've got some recruiting news, more OU football as well. Keep it locked on the Ref.
Sooner fans, show your Sooner pride. Crafted for SEC competition. Every OU fan should own a piece of Sooner Magic. Made in America, like it should be. Get your official on-field OU football today.
Hey, Sooner Nation, join me Mondays at 7:45 a.m. and Thursdays at 4:45 p.m. exclusively on the Ref. Download the KREF app to listen from anywhere.
Veterans of America,
I joined the Navy to serve my country. While parachuting with my platoon, my parachute didn't open, and I broke my neck.
Thanks to PVA, paralyzed veterans are getting specialized medical care and treatments, the jobs they want, and the accessible vehicles and homes they need.
I just don't think my family would be as happy as they are without the support that I received from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Learn more at pva.org.
I'm Scarlett Johansson. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. You can join the movement to end hunger by donating, volunteering, and advocating. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Coach Stoops here for Van Hoos Fence. If you want to work with the best local fence company and get championship service, contact my friend Mark and the Van Hoos Fence team. Van Hoos Fence gives each customer the most professional craftsmanship and competitive pricing in Oklahoma. From wood to chain link to vinyl to metal fences, the Van Hoos Fence team does it all. Contact the Fencing All-Americans at Van Hoos Fence, 405-735-1167 or vhfence.com.
Get ready for back to school with a truck that's built to handle the road ahead. The 2024 Ram 1500 Crew 4x4 Bighorn at Fowler Dodge is your perfect partner for Oklahoma's tough terrain. Right now, save a massive $18,000 off MSRP. Drive it home for just $45,485. Whether you're hauling gear or just heading to school, the Ram 1500 has you covered. Start your journey at Fowler Dodge. Must buy from dealer stock by 9/3/2024. Rebates included. Cannot be combined with other offers.
Did you know that about 23% of Oklahoma's river and stream miles are impaired by bacteria? Pet waste can pollute surface and drinking waters like Lake Thunderbird by contributing harmful levels of bacteria. Be sure to pick up after your furry friend when you're out and about. We drink our stormwater, so please do your part to help protect it. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then, someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. Brady this hour of Locked In with McComas and Thune. Dorsey Jones is family owned and operated, established in 2020. But many of their employees have been there for more than 20 years. Their low-pressure environment creates an enjoyable experience for everyone, and their sales staff is knowledgeable and eager to assist you before and after the buying process. They have all that and incredible pricing as well. Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. Greg Smith, I believe he is a national recruiting guy for Rivals. He has put in a future cast for Christian Jones to Nebraska, put in a future cast for Andrew Babalola to Michigan. I don't think those two things are all that shocking. Like, are we talking about a situation where Nebraska potentially wins this game on Saturday? All the hype around Lincoln will be insane if they win this game. Not that Colorado's some great team, but this feels like one of the bigger home games for Nebraska in a while, with Dylan Raiola in at quarterback with the hope that's there. Is this just one where Nebraska has a ton of momentum when we see Christian Jones commit to the Huskers pretty soon after?
Well, here's the thing. And I've said this before, like, this is not spin, this is not a secret, this is reality. The Sooners think more highly of Elijah Melendez than they do of Christian Jones. And they love Christian Jones. There's no reason not to love Christian Jones. But they are enamored with Elijah Melendez. And so with Elijah Melendez now back on the open market, And as he has publicly stated that OU is one of his top 2 schools as he works toward a final decision, it is altogether fair and understandable that a lot of the energy you were pouring into recruiting Christian Jones would now be redirected to Elijah Melendez. And yes, I do think it is as simple as if Nebraska beats Colorado on Saturday, that's it in the Christian Jones recruitment. That is the point at which I would have no qualms about flipping my future cast from OU to Nebraska.
You mentioned Elijah Melendez. Rivals is saying this. After his decommitment from Miami in recent days and a subsequent visit to Auburn, the Tigers are looking in perfect shape to eventually land Melendez's recruitment. 4-star backer, loved the family vibes at Auburn, especially among all the commits, and it looks like only a matter of time until he could join that group as well. Perfect shape. Perfect shape would be 100% chance.
Wow, I guess there's not even a chance. There is no chance.
Don't even waste your time,
OU.
guys.
Yep, don't get your hopes up. None of that. The kid's going to Auburn. And look, he may wind up at Auburn. So I'm not sitting here telling you, easily, without question, Elijah Melendez is a Sooner. OU has work to do there. But that one's not over. It's not over right now. It's not over because Steve Wiltfong, as good at his job as he may be, put in a prediction for Elijah Melendez to Auburn. We're still a ways from the finish line there.
How about some good news on the recruiting front? We got to go to 2026 to do so. But here's Noah Best, 4-star interior offensive lineman. He's a guard, is what he is. State of Texas.
Yep.
6'4", 286. It says Noah Best was one of the biggest stock risers of the summer, excelling at a number of prospect camps on college campuses. They saw him at Oklahoma, where he's quickly offered. A&M, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Ole Miss also extended offers. What gives me confidence in the Sooners is that it was learned soon after the camp that Noah Best is originally from Oklahoma.
Yes, indeed.
And with that, he has grown up an OU fan. There were real emotions from him while on campus, and says even the fact he was working out in front of the staff was a blessing. So this isn't like an official prediction from any of the guys at Rivals, but like, hey, to look ahead, if we were predicting now, Noah Best, really good interior offensive lineman, is probably Oklahoma at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the kid grew up a Sooner fan. Now lives in Midlothian, Texas, was an absolute stud at camp. That offer was more than deserved. He is an awesome-looking prospect and a guy that Bill Bedenbaugh has put a strong early emphasis on recruiting. My future cast favors Oklahoma. Our Mid-South analyst, Marshall Levinson, has also future casted Noah Best to Oklahoma. I'm going to be down to see Noah Best this Friday night, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
So who knows? Maybe I'll get some commitment quotes from him.
Ooh. Oh, is that a little bit of a tease? A little bit of a hint there? Oh, my gosh. What was that?
No, trust me. If it were a hint, I would not have hinted that openly.
Still, anything new on Cortez Mills? I would guess that nothing new here would be a pretty decent sign for OU, but we're Wednesday, and there was a report that he's going to visit Nebraska.
Again, I do not believe that visit will occur. If that visit does occur, there are issues there. And I would not, upon which Cortez Mills' visit to Nebraska, if that visit does come to fruition, it is at that point that I would no longer expect him to sign with Oklahoma.
By the way, 24/7 Sports, they've had this tool for a while, but it's like they rank the individual recruiters across the board in the 2025 class. Like you got Larry Johnson, the D-line coach at Ohio State's number 2 right now. You got some other coaches on there. Wide receiver coach at Oregon is at number 8. Emmett Jones, and they're grading this based on what they have committed in the 2025 class. Emmett Jones and his wide receiver class, top 10 overall in the country at every single position. He's sitting there at number 9 right now with 5 of those commits. Is he in the top 10 without Cortez Mills? Maybe not, but I guess the bright side of that, if you want to go there, is that even if you don't get Cortez Mills, and we've kind of relayed this more than once, with Cortez Mills, it's an excellent class. It's one of the best wide receiver classes in 2025 for any school in the country. But even if things were to go against you on this one, you still got a really solid you got a really solid recruiting class. Cortez Mills just kind of takes it to that next level.
Certainly. And I will say this, and I have said it before. Again, this is not spin. If you listen to this show, you know that I have said these words before. I love Cortez Mills as a prospect. He's an awesome wide receiver. Very polished dude. College ready. He can come in as a freshman and contribute. But I think the highest ceiling guy in that 2025 class for Oklahoma is Emmanuel Choice. And I think the most college-ready guy is Elijah Thomas. So either way, like, regardless of which superlative you prefer, instant impact and or highest ceiling, I don't think Cortez Mills holds that superlative in OU's recruiting class either way. So if he winds up in the class, great. Again, he's more than capable of coming in, playing an early role, becoming a long-term cornerstone in this offense. But as long as Elijah Thomas is committed to the University of Oklahoma, and as long as Emmanuel Choice is committed to the University of Oklahoma, and then you throw in Grayson and Marcus Harris.
Yeah.
Emmett Jones is doing just fine.
One-star Eric, the Mets fan, y'all act like this is the first time Nebraska's been forecasted to be back in the last 20 years. Don't be surprised if they collapse.
Yeah. Well,
fair enough, Eric, for sure.
Again, that's
just like
why,
your Mets.
That's why I haven't conceded the Christian Jones recruitment yet, is because there's still a very good chance Nebraska goes and lays an egg against Colorado.
Yeah, Eric, being a Mets fan, knows all about collapses, so I would tend to believe him there. 2-star Lost City Sooner, is that an orange shirt Parker is wearing? We've gotten that question the past 2 days. It's not an orange shirt that he's wearing.
It's red.
It's red.
It probably looks orange in the light.
The mood lighting.
Mood lighting.
Makes it
gives it
orange.
an orange vibe.
Chonky Chuck, guys, today deserves some positivity. OU football is back. We've gotten legit 5 stars on the line of scrimmage in consecutive years, and we're just on an upward trajectory. Life is good.
I agree, Chonky Chuck. I agree. I look forward to seeing you at Chick-fil-A this evening.
Chonky Chuck is becoming a regular when you and I are out on remote somewhere, or just out on remote in period. Chuck's like at all the remotes now, which
He's a
I
super
appreciate.
fan, man.
Yeah.
Always appreciate the super fans.
From the state of Georgia, keep the chili dogs away from Tyler if he is to keep that polo clean. God, that is a great point. It's a fantastic point, yes. Had some issues getting food all over my shirt before and having to buy a new shirt at a sporting event before.
Really?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard this story.
I was at a UCLA basketball game back in 2018. Spilt a chili dog all over my collar shirt and had to buy a UCLA basketball T-shirt while I was wearing khakis and just it wasn't it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Chili dogs can get messy, man. You're stepping into dangerous territory anytime you choose to take on the challenge of eating a chili dog in your seat at a sporting event.
Daryl in Tulsa, you guys talked about that 2009 when Landry had to come in. What about 2003 when Jason White went down the second time and we had to go back to Nate Hibble? That felt hopeless. That was actually in 2002 against Alabama, second game of the year. I believe that was in the first half. Nate Hibble came in. They did end up winning a Big 12 championship.
They did.
Nate Hibble was the Rose Bowl MVP, so it didn't end up terrible, but yeah, it felt like Jay White was your better option at that point.
Was that not the year of what Steely refers to as the Houston fiasco?
Yeah, that Big 12 championship was when they beat Colorado. It's exactly the same year.
Nate Hibble did all right for himself. Continues to do all right for himself.
Yeah, that's true. Gunny says, fellas, as a night shifter, I do not miss the Rooster kickoffs at all. Isn't it crazy that they had 7 last year at 11 a.m. Central, and there's a chance that they have 0 11 a.m. kicks Central Time this year?
I guess there is a chance. We're
Yeah.
going to get one at some point.
Oh, I'm sure.
I believe that.
And that's fine. Like, I think people are okay every now and then of having an 11 a.m. kickoff.
As long as it's not like sharpied into the schedule from the
just
jump.
like consecutively. Yeah, but there's a chance that South Carolina could be at noon and Ole Miss could be at noon. And, buddy, the difference from 11 a.m. to noon, that may be the most important hour of the day, getting ready for a college football game. Starting 1 hour later at noon would feel like a huge difference. Feel like a huge difference for sure. D in Choctaw says Casey Thompson was one of the best quarterbacks Texas had in the 12 years after Colt McCoy. Now he's our third string, LOL. Just shows how bad Texas was.
And how low the standard is for quarterback play at the University of Texas. Because, again, if you look back at it, from a statistical standpoint, Casey Thompson, who, again, fine football player, but currently third string at the University of Oklahoma, had a better season than any Texas quarterback since Colt McCoy.
Canic the Kryptonian says any recruiting news. That was actually from last segment, so hope you're happy with all the recruiting updates that we gave you there. But anything at all, like, positive on the 2025 front? I mean, Elijah Melendez decommitted from Miami. That's not a bad thing. But anything on Austin Peay that should make OU fans feel good?
I got nothing.
Yeah?
I got nothing in that regard right now. We'll see. He's got to visit. It's kind of a similar deal as Melendez. If he visits again, feel good. Until that point, you kind of just don't know.
So who's on the recruiting board right now for OU? You've got Elijah Melendez, you've got Christian Jones, you got Andrew Babalola, and you have Austin Peay. Anyone else?
That's pretty much it.
What are the chances?
Oh boy, here we go.
They don't get another commits in the 2025 class. We put the over-under at 1.5 yesterday, and you took the under, and I agreed with that. But what are the chances they just, like, the class as it is today, like, that's it on signing
Well,
day?
you have 23 commits right now. Yes, there's a world where that happens, but if Oklahoma strikes out on both Christian Jones and Elijah Melendez, I kind of feel like BV will take the opportunity to peruse some senior tape. And there are some really exciting late risers that are already cropping up around the country. I think especially if you fail to add another linebacker with the knowledge that as of right now it's Marcus James and who's the other linebacker commit? Now I'm spacing.
Your other linebacker commits in the 2025 class, as I delay myself to look down the list here, is none other than I don't see anybody else.
Okay, so that is it just Marcus James then?
That's no wonder we're having a hard time thinking of anyone because nobody else is listed as a linebacker.
Yeah, okay. Well, I thought I was stupid for a second. Maybe I'm not. But I get the feeling that if that happened, Brent Venables would either take a big swing at a big-time linebacker that's committed somewhere else, or he would do what he did with Isaiah Simmons, do what he did more recently with Taylor Heim, and start sifting through some senior tape to try and find a guy that fits the bill, somebody that can play at a high level at the University of Oklahoma and ultimately project to an NFL future. Here's a name I'll throw at you, by the way. And this is not a scholarship guy for OU right now, but somebody that they are very, very intrigued by as a potential PWO addition. He comes from Frisco Emerson High School. Sound familiar?
Yeah,
He will be on campus this weekend. His name is Agape Lawrence, two-time defending district player of the year, defensive player of the year, I should say. Tyler, he had over 200 tackles last year as a junior.
Jeez.
Yes. And if you watch the film on the dude, the knock on him is he's like 5'11". He's not that tall, but he hits. He hits.
What are they playing, 10 regular season games in the state of Texas? I don't know. How far did Frisco Emerson make it in the playoffs last year? Is that like – did they make it a couple of games there last year? Like, regardless, you're averaging around like 15 tackles per game if you had that many a year ago, right? That's insane, man.
Dude's everywhere.
Insane.
He covers ground. He hits hard. He can play in coverage as well. Really, really solid all-around linebacker. The reason why he's not on scholarship radars for many, if any, FBS programs is because, as I mentioned, he's short.
You're talking about, potentially even trying to flip someone that's highly ranked. I was looking today to see, who's left out there that's uncommitted? Who hasn't committed yet? Like Justice Terry is a highly ranked guy that hasn't committed yet. But if you look at Rivals rankings, it is September 4th. The season just started. 37 of the top 40 prospects, 37 of the top 40 prospects are already committed somewhere. Now, maybe that didn't surprise a whole lot of people because of how active the summer months are now, but I bet you wouldn't find a whole lot of years previously where we're barely into the season and all but 3 of the top 40 are committed somewhere. It's pretty crazy, the timeline now.
It's just a growing trend is guys are committing earlier and earlier, and I think it will continue to trend in that direction. It will be more and more of a rarity that a big-time blue-chip prospect goes into their senior season uncommitted. Postal Sooner wants to know, did Jamar Mosey's kid go somewhere else, or is he a senior this year? So, yeah, Jamar Mosey is actually on staff now at Nebraska. His son Isaiah, 4-star wide receiver in the 2025 class, who for a long, long time was a heavy Oklahoma lean, committed to Oregon over the summer after Oklahoma filled up at receiver, and they'd kind of backed off Isaiah. The two parties had kind of gone their own way sometime previous. But he ended up flipping to Nebraska once his dad took the job on the Nebraska staff, and I think that was back in June, if I recall correctly, that Jamar took that job. So, yeah, Isaiah Mosey is going to be a Husker.
405-651-3439, Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line. A lot of text to get to. We'll get to more recruiting, more OU football as well. Keep it locked on the Ref.
Sooner fans, show your Sooner pride. Crafted for SEC competition. Every OU fan should own a piece of Sooner Magic. Made in America, like it should be. Get your official on-field OU football today.
Hey Sooner Nation, join me Mondays at 7:45 a.m. and Thursdays at 4:45 p.m. exclusively on the Ref. Download the KREF app to listen from anywhere.
Experience.
Rev up your summer with Great Plains Kubota. Purchase a Kubota zero-turn mower by September 16th and automatically be entered into our exclusive Kubota mower giveaway drawing. One lucky customer will have a chance to have their finance mower paid off or cash purchase refunded. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to elevate your mowing experience and potentially win big. Visit us today to explore our range of Kubota zero-turn mowers and enter to win. Offer valid today through September 16th on Z200 and Z400 series mowers for qualified entries.
They say if you don't like the weather in Oklahoma, wait 5 minutes and check it again. Nope, not there yet. Ah, that's more like it. Being comfortable is important, and if it's -5 degrees or 100 degrees, Norman Air has you covered. Our impeccable quality and unbeatable service is what sets us apart from our competitors. It's just part of our mission to keep Oklahoma comfortable. Visit normanair.com for all your heating, air, plumbing, and electrical needs. Norman Air, service to the max.
Hey Sooners, I'm OU alum and Boyd Street Ventures founder James Spann. The Sooners season is underway, which means it's time for the Boyd Street Ventures Under the Radar Player of the Game. It's time for you to consider investing in BSV. Our portfolio has 16 innovative, under-the-radar, Oklahoma-connected companies. If you want in, the sooner the better, as our fund closes December 31st. Check out our portfolio at BoydStreetVentures.com. Boyd Street Ventures, under the radar, above the crowd.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
I'm Gina Mitchell of Mitchell's Jewelry. Newt and Ryan are leaving soon for Thailand to attend one of the world's largest colored gemstone shows. They'll be selecting top quality gemstones at huge savings. This is the time. Let us choose something extra special for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas. Do something out of the ordinary. Let us select a ruby or sapphire for your engagement ring. Come see us now to learn more. Mitchell's Jewelry in the heart of Norman at 2201 West Main Street in Norman.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher.
Because when I'm a teacher, I can help kids to learn and chase their dreams.
PI, a defect of the immune system, affects millions of children. Early and accurate diagnosis and treatment give children like Sam a chance to achieve their dreams.
It takes a lot of caring teachers to make school fun. It took a lot of caring people to keep my dream alive. And now, because of them, I can be head of the class.
For more information, visit the Jeffrey Modell Foundation at info4pi.org.
The heat is coming, so keep your cool. Let Signature Custom Pools design your oasis for summer fun. Professional design expertise, quality construction, and personal service with a signature touch. Call Signature Custom Pools for a free consultation at 405-898-9098 or contact online at signaturecustompools.com today and visit the Signature Pool and Patio Showroom on Main Street. Primo grills, fire pits, pool umbrellas, and amazing pool, spa, and grilling supplies. Free water testing and weekly pool service from the best at Signature Pool and Patio in Norman.
Final segment, locked in with Comus and Thune, live on the ref. We're the Homeless Sooner fans. And if you're watching on YouTube Live, yep, I got the official game ball they're going to use on Saturday right here in Norman, courtesy of BigGameUSA.com/KREF. BigGameUSA.com/KREF. It can be yours there. Really cool football with the OU logo, the SEC logo on it as well. BigGameUSA.com/KREF. Random check-in on a former player around here. Gundy was asked about potentially redshirting Gavin Freeman. He said, quote, earlier this week, "I don't know that it's fair to say one way or the other right now," end quotes. Guess Gavin Freeman was essentially wide receiver 4 on Saturday for the Pokes.
Well, what answer did you think you were going to get from Mike Gundy to that question?
Is he still wearing 82? Well, 82. We're going to get him involved.
He's wearing
this
17,
week.
actually.
17 now?
17.
Well, he even had to change his number out there. How about that? Well, best of luck to Gavin Freeman. But do like what we've seen thus far for Peyton Bowen. He had the one return, was it like for 11 yards maybe? Made something happen.
I mean, it was a nice little return. Not an explosive one, certainly, but one of those returns that made you go, okay, like there's something there. That'll go at some point. Things will open up for Peyton Bowen. Like, he showed enough on that one return to get people believing that a breakaway return is coming in the weeks ahead. Puerto Rican Sooner on the whole Agape Lawrence conversation said, "Parker has height standards like a woman. If they're not 6 foot, they're 4'11" and just a bunch of short kings. No, I'm not. Like, listen, I'm telling you what I'm trying to explain to you the way that FBS coaches think. Right? Like, there's a reason that the all-time FBS leading tackler, a guy by the name of Carlton Marshall, if you need a refresher, went to Troy University. It's obviously not because he couldn't tackle, not because he couldn't go sideline to sideline. It's because he was 5'8". So Agape Lawrence can only dream of being 6 feet tall. And far be it from me to try and define a guy as a football player or judge a guy as a football player based on his height. I was the one screaming at you guys all of last year to please stop slandering Eli Bowen because he's only 5'9". He's every bit the defensive back that his brother is. Maybe not as versatile, but certainly every bit the defensive back in coverage that his brother is. And lo and behold, he has earned a lot of praise.
You don't think it'd be smart for OU to be short king you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, let's not get carried away here. But it was funny. Eli Bowen got some praise from a very unexpected source when we got the chance to talk to some of the players on Monday night after practice. Would you care to take a guess as to who shouted out Eli Bowen and for what?
So I'm trying to think of who was available Monday after practice. The only one I can think of was Garen Hatchett available?
I guess Hatchett was available. It was not Garen Hatchett.
How about your SEC Special Teams Player of the Week? He was available.
It was
as
not
well.
Tyler Keltner.
Gosh,
it was the other specialist. Luke Elzinga shouted out Eli Bowen. Yeah, he apparently said Eli Bowen has been fantastic as a gunner on the practice field. So it's what you like to hear.
Luke Elzinga is a cool dude. He's a cool dude.
He's an awesome dude. He's so funny.
How about this via On3? I guess On3 is doing their own ranking systems nationally for high school football this year. They have their own top 25. Yeah. State of Oklahoma, though. Stand up. According to On3, Owasso is the number 11 team in the country. Bixby is the number 12 team in the country. They dropped 2 spots after that loss. Union is at 13, and Jinx is at 17. Wow.
I shouldn't say I love the fact. I just think it's humorous that On3 has very obviously gone with the shameless engagement farming model where they're ranking everything, they're putting a graphic out for everything. They're just doing anything and everything that they can to get people to interact on social media with their content.
Well, they got me. Did you see Adam Gaylor last night tweeting out the rat poison about that from Nick Saban? It's pretty good.
That's what's up.
Adam Gaylor, the defensive coordinator out there at Jinx. Well, it's interesting to bring this up now after we just mentioned. You got something there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Would you guess that I have been compared to Adam Gaylor in the past?
Well, he yells much louder than you.
He does yell much louder than me. Would you care to guess who compared me to Adam Gaylor?
Man, this is Luke Elzinga. He made that comparison as
no,
well.
No, Brandon Hall compared me to Adam Gaylor.
In what
At
way?
a camp a couple years back because I was wearing joggers. And so he walks by, B. Hall walks by. And, of course, like B. Hall is just a very, he's a very down-to-earth guy where, like, he's always got a joke to crack. He's walking by and he goes, "You remind me of Adam Gaylor up at Jenks." And I said, "Really? That's probably the first time in my life I've ever been compared to Adam Gaylor or any big-time defensive coordinator at any level in the football realm." And he said, "Yeah, that's something Adam Gaylor would wear right there."
And just walked off
Just
after
walked
that? Thanks, Coach.
That's the Brandon Hall experience.
That's awesome. No, what I was going to mention is, I had this written down in the rundown sheet, early KREF Recruiter of the Month favorite. And, well, that's kind of complicated when we just said, well, there's a chance that OU does not get another commits in the 2025 class. I don't know if that's a greater than 50% chance, and there's certainly some, really nice prospects on the board. But Christian Jones, a lot of predictions in for Nebraska, Babalola to Michigan. You've got others out there, Melendez to Auburn. So who would even be the early favorite? Because a lot of positions are done for 2025.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to say who would even be the early KREF Recruit of the Month favorites for September.
And
could be a 2026 get, I guess.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was about to go with it. Does Oklahoma get another 2026 commit by the end of the month? I think it's a possibility. I think it is a definite possibility because the hype meter is going to be through the roof for OU Tennessee on September 21st. So if Oklahoma wins that football game, Tyler, I don't know who, I couldn't tell you who, but I'll bet you there's somebody on campus that week for an unofficial visit that sees that atmosphere, sees the performance that the Sooners turn in against Tennessee, and they go, "Yep, I'm done. I want to be a part of this."
Well, is Noah Best going to be in town that weekend? Is he scheduled to be in?
I'll have to ask him on Friday night. I'll find out for sure. That visitor list is going to be huge. That much I know.
He may take part in the chance. He's been such a big OU fan his entire life. But, that'd be all right. Little addition if that's were to happen in the month of September. And they're off to a nice start in the 2026 class. And in a good spot in the 2025 class, Ohio State's at 1, Bama's at 2, LSU's at 3, Georgia at 4, Auburn at 5, Tennessee at 6, OU at 7, Texas at 8, Notre Dame at 9, and Miami at 10. So OU's in the top 8 for now. There is Auburn in the top 5. They're arguably one of the hottest teams in recruiting, not just in the past month, but maybe the past 2 months. And some are starting to throw out the question, should we pay a little bit more attention to Auburn? Should we put Auburn on the radar here? Is that a legitimate question, or do we still have to say, come on, it's freaking Auburn. We know what Auburn is. Maybe once every 5 or 6 years they have a really good team. But outside that, it's Auburn.
It feels like that's the right answer, right? Especially given that their head coach is Hugh Freeze, whom you would not expect to be in the mix for the number 1 class in the nation in year 2 at a place like Auburn for many obvious reasons. But, yes, Auburn has major juice on the recruiting trail right now. And with the talent that they're stockpiling, if they develop it, these next 2, 3, 4 years, Auburn could be a problem in the SEC once again.
If they get a quarterback, that's what it's going to get, because I don't think that their answer at quarterback is on campus. Or certainly not the starting quarterback that they have in Peyton Thorne. Not a big Peyton Thorne believer. But if they get a young quarterback in there, they're going to be in the market in the transfer portal this offseason. If they get a quarterback, then watch out. Because really, since Cam, how many times have you felt that Auburn has an upper echelon quarterback in the SEC? Nick Marshall had that good year.
Had a moment, yeah.
Outside that, Jarrett Stidham was there after Baylor, correct? He was all right.
Bo Nix had flashes.
But the best football Bo Nix played wasn't even in Auburn, right? It was in Eugene,
yeah.
I guess.
Bo Nix had a pretty legendary game his freshman year in the Iron Bowl against Alabama. But that was probably his brightest flash in a Tiger uniform. In response to my comments about Eli Bowen, Chonky Chuck says, "I'll keep my BVDBs who are generally above 6'1". I'm sure this guy's good. 200 tackles is something, but the less Buki I have, the better."
It always comes back to Buki.
Yes, true, Chonky Chuck. But there's a delicate balance to strike there Because what you don't want is you don't want a room of Alex Grinch DBs. You remember the conversations that we were all having circa 2020, 2021 about the Oklahoma DB group? Man, these guys are huge. Justin Harrington is huge. Bryson Washington, that dude's huge. Joshua Eaton is huge. And none of those guys turned out to be good football players. Harrington turned out okay, actually.
Yeah.
But, like, Josh Eaton is at Texas State now and still looks like a distance runner. Bryson Washington, I assume, is still at the University of New Mexico, which is where he transferred to after washing out at OU. So size doesn't always equal ability in the defensive secondary.
Yeah, speaking of corners, man, I'm so ready for this weekend. Those that know and those that were around and those that saw the tweets that season and everything, oh, man. Seeing old Latrell McCutcheon back. How do you think he's feeling right now going into this week? You think he's a little bit nervous? He knows what's going to happen? Or
I would think he's hoping and praying that he is not tasked with guarding Deion Burks.
Dude, that'll be a disaster if that happens to him. An absolute disaster.
Burnt toast on Deion Burks, that has Xavier Worthy 2021 written all over it.
I mean, if I'm...
What did he have that day? Like 260 and 3 touchdowns?
Well, yeah, and then the first play of the game went for a 75-yard touchdown. He didn't even get touched.
No, he did not.
Burnt toast coming back, Latrell McCutcheon. If I'm Jackson Arnold and I see Latrell McCutcheon, really on anybody, but especially on Deion Burks, yeah, we're just going to throw it there. I don't really care about the other reads. That's where we're going with the ball.
He still wears 7. Throw it at 7. That's your green light. You see 7, throw it at him.
If like there's an overthrow or an underthrow and it's incomplete on the guy that he's covering and he has nothing to do with it, you know he's going to be given the biggest yeah, incomplete. The celebrations will be I'm sure will be very large, even if he has nothing to do with why the pass was incompleted. Jeez. Dan in Madison, Mississippi. I don't know why you would think that Hugh Freeze couldn't have a great recruiting class after 2 years at Auburn. He arrived at all missing 2012 and 2013. He landed the number 5 recruiting class at Ole Miss.
True, Dan. But that was pre-escort service.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think that he could have a good recruiting class at Auburn. He is. It's Auburn, though. So it's hard for me to think that consistently, year in and year out, they're going to be highly competitive in the SEC. But maybe he can prove us wrong. We'll see. All right, the Rush is coming up next. Keep it locked on the Ref.
Sooner fans, show your Sooner pride. Crafted for SEC competition. Every OU fan should own a piece of Sooner magic. Made in America, like it should be. Get your official on-field OU football today.
Hey, Sooner Nation, join me Mondays at 7:45 a.m. and Thursdays at 4:45 p.m. exclusively on the Ref. Download the KREF app